There are moments in life when everything feels like a test, when silence replaces answers, when effort seems unnoticed, and when you begin to wonder if any of it truly matters. But what if those exact moments, the ones that feel the heaviest, are the very ones that define you the most? What if what you've been going through is not random, not meaningless, but a reflection of something being observed, something being measured within you? Think about it. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when recognition disappears, when validation fades, and when the only thing left is your own sense of right and wrong? It's easy to stay strong when life is smooth, when things go your way, and when people are cheering you on. But real character, real depth, is revealed when everything becomes uncertain. Maybe you've been patient when it would have been easier to react. Maybe you stayed silent when you had every reason to speak. Maybe you chose integrity over shortcuts, even when no one would have known the difference. And maybe, just maybe, you started questioning whether any of that restraint, discipline, or quiet strength even mattered. But what if that's exactly the point? There's a powerful idea found across many belief systems and philosophical traditions, that a person's true worth is not revealed in comfort, but in challenge. Not in ease, but in endurance. The moments that test your patience, your honesty, your resilience, those are the moments that shape who you are becoming. Ask yourself this: when you were pushed to your limits, did you break, or did you bend and grow? When you were faced with unfairness, did you respond with more negativity, or did you choose a higher standard for yourself? When no one acknowledged your effort, did you stop, or did you keep going anyway? Because those choices matter more than they seem. It's easy to assume that progress should always be visible, that growth should always feel rewarding. But some of the most important transformations happen quietly. They happen in your thoughts, in your decisions, in the way you carry yourself when the world gives you every reason not to. And here's something worth considering. What if the delays, the setbacks, and the challenges are not signs of failure, but signs that something deeper is being developed within you? What if the patience you're building, the discipline you're maintaining, and the integrity you're holding on to are exactly what needed to be seen? Not by others, not for applause, but as a reflection of who you truly are. Because in the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about choosing what's right even when it's difficult. It's about staying grounded even when everything around you feels unstable. So before you doubt your journey, before you question whether your efforts have meaning, take a moment to reflect. What have you endured? What have you resisted? What have you chosen, again and again, despite the pressure to do otherwise? Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is keep going. There's something quietly powerful about the version of you that kept going when it would have been easier to stop. Not the version people see, not the one presented to the world, but the one that made difficult choices in silence. The one that held back, stayed grounded, and chose discipline over impulse. Have you taken a moment to recognize that version of yourself? Because often, we overlook the weight of our own decisions when no one is there to acknowledge them. We move forward, carrying unseen struggles, making unseen sacrifices, and we begin to question whether those moments hold any real significance. But what if those exact moments, the ones that feel invisible, are the most meaningful of all? Think about the times you could have taken the easy path, but didn't. The times you could have responded with anger, but chose restraint. The times you felt like giving up, yet something within you refused to let you walk away. Those weren't accidents. Those were choices. And choices, especially the difficult ones, shape the direction of your life in ways that aren't always immediately visible. Why is it that we expect growth to feel comfortable? Why do we assume that progress should come with constant reassurance? The reality is, growth often feels like uncertainty. It feels like walking forward without clear answers. It feels like holding on to your principles, even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. And maybe that's where the real shift happens. Because when you continue to act with intention, even in the absence of recognition, you begin to build something deeper than external success. You begin to build trust within yourself, a quiet confidence, a sense of alignment between what you believe and how you act. And that alignment becomes your foundation. Consider this. What if the true measure of your path isn't how quickly things change around you, but how consistently you remain grounded within? What if the delays you're experiencing are not obstacles, but opportunities to strengthen your mindset, your patience, and your clarity? It's easy to feel overlooked when results don't appear right away. It's easy to think that your efforts are going unnoticed. But sometimes, the process itself is the purpose. Sometimes, the repetition of doing what's right, over and over again, is what shapes your character into something unshakable. And here's where it becomes even more important. When you act with integrity, without expecting immediate reward, you remove dependence on external validation. You stop needing constant confirmation that you're on the right path. Instead, you begin to know. You begin to trust your own decisions, even when the world around you feels uncertain. That kind of inner stability is rare. So ask yourself honestly, are you acting based on who you truly want to be, or are you waiting for permission, for signs, for validation? Are you holding your standards only when it's convenient, or are you committed to them even when it's difficult? Because the truth is, the moments that feel the most unnoticed are often the ones that matter the most. They are shaping you, refining you, and preparing you in ways that cannot always be seen right away, and maybe, just maybe, that quiet consistency you've been maintaining is not being overlooked at all. At some point, you start to notice a pattern. Not in what's happening around you, but in how you're responding to it. The same situations that once triggered frustration now meet a calmer version of you. The same pressures that once made you doubt yourself now feel like something you can carry with more awareness. Have you noticed that shift? It doesn't happen overnight. It's built slowly, through repeated moments of choosing differently. Choosing patience when irritation rises, choosing clarity when confusion takes over. Choosing to pause, reflect, and respond instead of reacting without thought. These aren't dramatic changes, but they are powerful ones. And here's the question most people don't ask themselves. What changed within you to make that possible? Because growth isn't just about external improvement. It's about internal alignment. It's about becoming someone who can handle what once felt overwhelming. And often, that transformation happens so gradually that you don't even realize how far you've come until you look back. Think about who you were before these challenges began. The mindset you had, the reactions you defaulted to, the way you viewed obstacles. Now compare that to who you are today. Even if your circumstances haven't completely changed, something within you has. Your awareness, your control, your ability to stay steady when things don't go your way. That's not accidental. There's a refining process that happens when you go through repeated tests of patience, discipline, and resilience. It strips away impulsive reactions and replaces them with intentional choices. It forces you to confront your own limits and then quietly expand beyond them. But here's where many people get it wrong. They assume that once they've improved, life should immediately reward them. That once they've become more patient, more disciplined, more grounded, everything around them should align instantly. And when that doesn't happen, doubt starts to creep in again. Why is nothing changing? What's the point of all this effort? But what if the change you're looking for isn't meant to be external? At least not yet. What if the real transformation is happening within you first, preparing you for something that requires this exact level of stability, this exact level of self-control, this exact level of awareness? Because without that foundation, even the things you desire could become overwhelming. Even the opportunities you're waiting for could feel like pressure instead of progress. So, instead of asking why things haven't changed yet, try asking something deeper. What have you become capable of handling now that you couldn't handle before? What situations no longer control your emotions the way they used to? What habits have you built that are quietly strengthening you every single day? Those answers matter more than immediate results. Because when you focus only on outcomes, you miss the transformation. But when you recognize the transformation, you begin to understand that outcomes often follow in their own time. There's strength in becoming steady. There's power in becoming consistent. And there's something incredibly rare about a person who continues to grow internally, even when there's no immediate external reward. So if you've been feeling like nothing is changing, look again. Look deeper. The shift may not be loud, but it's there, and it's shaping you into someone who is ready for more. And now you reach a point where something feels different, not because everything around you has suddenly changed, but because you have. The same uncertainty may still exist. The same delays may still test your patience. But your perspective, your way of carrying it all, has shifted, and that changes everything. You're no longer reacting the way you used to. You're no longer shaken by every obstacle or discouraged by every delay. Instead, there's a quiet steadiness within you, a sense that, regardless of what happens next, you will handle it with clarity and control. And that realization alone is powerful. But here's something to reflect on. What if this entire journey was never just about reaching a specific outcome? What if it was about becoming someone who could carry that outcome responsibly, without losing balance, without losing direction? Because it's one thing to want something. It's another thing to be ready for it. Think about the discipline you've built, the patience you've practiced, the awareness you've developed. These are not small things. They are the foundation of a mindset that doesn't collapse under pressure. A mindset that doesn't depend on constant reassurance. A mindset that stays grounded even when circumstances are unpredictable. And maybe that's what truly matters. There's a tendency to look outward for confirmation, to search for signs that everything you've been doing is working. But the real confirmation often shows up internally. In the way you think, in the way you respond, in the way you carry yourself through situations that once felt overwhelming. So ask yourself honestly, are you still the same person who started this journey? Or have you become someone more aware, more disciplined, more in control? Because if you have, then something significant has already happened. It's easy to underestimate internal growth because it doesn't always come with immediate, visible rewards. There's no instant recognition, no clear milestone that announces your progress to the world. But that doesn't make it any less real. In fact, it often makes it more valuable, because what you've built within yourself cannot be taken away by circumstances. It doesn't depend on timing, on external approval, or on things going perfectly. It's yours, and it stays with you, shaping every decision you make moving forward. And here's where everything comes together. All the moments of patience, all the times you chose discipline, all the situations where you stayed grounded instead of reacting impulsively, they weren't wasted. They were necessary. They were building something within you that couldn't be developed any other way. So, instead of questioning the journey, recognize it. Instead of doubting the process, reflect on who you've become through it. Because sometimes, the clearest sign of progress isn't a sudden change in your environment. It's the quiet realization that you're no longer the person who would have been overwhelmed by it. And that's when you understand something important. You were not being held back. You were being prepared. And once you truly understand that, something inside you settles. The need to rush fades. The pressure to constantly prove yourself begins to loosen its grip. You start to realize that not everything needs to happen immediately for it to be meaningful. There is a certain calm that comes with recognizing your own growth. Not arrogance, not pride, but a grounded awareness. You begin to trust your process. You begin to trust your decisions. And most importantly, you begin to trust that your efforts are not empty, even when results take time to appear. But let's be honest for a moment. There will still be days when doubt tries to return. Days when you question whether you're really on the right path. Days when the waiting feels longer than your patience. That's part of being human. The difference now is that you don't get lost in those moments the way you once did. Why? Because you've already seen what you're capable of. You've seen yourself stay consistent when it was difficult. You've seen yourself choose discipline over distraction. You've seen yourself push forward without needing constant validation. And those experiences become proof, real proof, that you can continue, no matter how uncertain things may feel. So when doubt whispers, you don't have to fight it aggressively. You simply recognize it and move forward anyway. That's strength. And here's something even deeper to reflect on. What if the version of you that exists right now is already closer to where you need to be than you think? Not because everything is complete, but because the foundation is there. The mindset is there. The awareness is there. From this point forward, it's no longer about becoming someone completely different. It's about continuing to refine who you already are. Sharpening your focus. Strengthening your consistency. Protecting your inner balance. Because once you've built that internal stability, external changes don't shake you the same way. Success doesn't make you lose yourself. Delays don't break your confidence. Challenges don't erase your direction. You remain steady, and that steadiness is what allows progress to happen in a way that lasts. So if you've been searching for a clear sign, something obvious, something undeniable, maybe this is it. Not something outside of you, but something within you. The way you think now, the way you respond now, the way you carry yourself through uncertainty, that is your sign, not loud, not dramatic, but real. And as you move forward from here, remember this: you don't need to rush what is already in motion. You don't need to force what is already developing. Stay consistent. Stay aware. Stay aligned with the standards you've built for yourself, because the same quiet strength that brought you this far will carry you the rest of the way.